people got to get out here and get active. You got to get out here and confront fools like Kevin Gates, fools like Kanye West, fools like Tyrese, fools like, you can insert random Negro here. Conversations 2020. I want to make sure that I kind of touch on, celebrity news. I think this is a lot of the stuff that we need to kind of nip in the bud.
Zionist, nigga. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Jesus Christ, Hitler, yay. We don't have to bow to this shit, nigga. Okay, it's 60 million of us in America, 60 million Jews in the world. 50% of our deaths is abortion. 25% of us go to prison. Raise one hand if you don't know one nigga in prison, one nigga got locked up, and one nigga poor. Raise your hand if you don't know one person got abortion. Now I tell you, if it was in a Jewish mother on Friday with no fucking, everybody raise their hands. So wait a second. But wait a second. Who make the hospitals though? Who got the hospitals? These are Zionists, nigga. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Jesus Christ, Hitler, yay. Third party.
So there's that character. Hold on. Let me. I got a couple more. Just real quick. I want to really drive this point home.
Me and my homies, like, I think this was even trending on TikTok.
I can't wait.
Yo, he said, I don't know if you ever watched the interview with it. He said he started a car battery with his hands. You did not start no car battery with your bare hands.
If I didn't, may God murder my children. I hate that I even spoke about that. If I didn't, may God murder my children.
No, don't say that.
Please, kill them today.
Yeah. One more. I really want to drive this point home because you have a lot of these little musty Negroes running around.
And clip that all you want to, nigga. Empty the clip, nigga. Talking about our party with Sexy Red, nigga. I slept with Sexy Red, nigga. Ask her. That's on the dead homies, nigga. I slept with her, nigga.
Yeah, you couldn't hear that so well for whatever reason. I guess the audio got messed up. But Ray J sitting up here talking about how he slept with Sexy Red on the dead homies. On the dead homies, nigga. I slept with her, nigga. Yeah, I slept with Sexy Red. Like, that's a flex. And the commonality between those three threads is because I want to believe. In fact, I think the best case scenario is if I believe that all three of these brothers have mental issues. That's what I want to believe. That's the best case scenario. Because if you don't have mental issues and you're out here spewing this nonsensical gibberish and bile just to do it, just to get attention, you know what? That may be just a whole other type of mental illness in and of itself. You understand what I'm saying? So my question is, when do we say when? Because I've told you before, I don't believe Kanye West has a mental illness. I don't buy it. Not in the conventional sense, I guess, that at least that we're thinking about. Like there's something wrong with him. He has no control over what he's saying. He's just kind of saying shit. I don't buy it. And it's because of Kanye West's history and how he has always branded himself as this blabbermouth that just blurts out whatever. And, just kind of does a whole bunch of theatrical cooning for attention. He's literally always done that. I don't even believe that George Bush don't like black people was about standing up for the community. I believe that was all him, in his self-worshiping, egotistical, egomaniacal bullshit. I really believe that. I've always believed that about him. Because, if that were really about standing up for black people, there are other ways that he could have done that and been a lot more effective. That wasn't particularly effective. It was a statement that was made. After that, nothing happened. You understand? And the other two, Ray J's up here just kind of, and he does that every few months, just kind of comes out and just says some dumb shit. Kevin Gates, he started a car battery with his hands. What are we doing? Antonio, what's his name? Antonio Brown has done this. Tyrese has done this. At any given time, you can find a black man somewhere today, and black women too. It's just become its own cottage industry. just kind of this coon Tourette's. You understand what I'm saying? Where these niggas just kind of blurt out whatever dumb shit they can, you know, in order to get attention, versus someone that really does have a mental disorder and needs help. How do we even differentiate between the two in this climate? Because what's happening is people who really do need mental help and people who really do need mental assistance, they're not being taken seriously, you know, and some of those people who need mental health, they're like, okay, well, they watch Kanye and they watch rayj and they watch all these other buffoons get out here and say all this dumb shit on camera, and they don't even try to get help because, oh, this is the way to get a bag now. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a very thin line, and I don't want to disparage anyone that has real mental issues. I don't want to do that because that's important. We need to help those people. They need to be willing to help themselves, though, first off. And secondly, again, how do we even draw that line? Because the lines are very blurred and people are using this type of pseudo-intellectual psycho babble vomit to draw attention to themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So how do y'all feel about that? Talk to me. Oh, and my God, Kevin Gates is the most despicable thing out of all of that. If I'm lying, may God kill my kids right now. Who says that right now? And he made sure he specified. Who says that? Go ahead, brothers. Go ahead.
You have three different individuals. You have rayj, who is known as his whole life as Brandy's brother. He's not known as rayj. He never had an identity. He never had his own legacy. So the little brother syndrome is the one that's always fighting for notoriety, but also was the one that was coddled by the parents the most. So you're carried by your parents, but you're also living in the shadow of your elders, I should say your older siblings.
Yeah.
Right. So the identity crisis has been through his whole life. Brandy is the one who got him in TV appearances on Moesha and all that other stuff and brought him into that reality of working through acting and things like that. He wasn't as talented as Brandy. Brandy was talented as far as her voice and as far as her acting. It wasn't bad. It was pretty decent, you know, but she did it enough to make a good living and a legacy out of it. He never had anything on his own 2 feet that he could do that kind of separate him into his own identity and separated him into his own legacy. So he suffered from that identity crisis. And that's why you notice that everything he talks about and everything he does, he boasts and brags about it because he wants the world to try to accept him as his own identity, his own man, that he never stood on his 2 feet from day one. So people got to be very wary of that when you're looking at certain individuals and to analyze that perspective of them, because a lot of times there's like we did the show last week, projections. That is a projection that he's doing over everybody. And you're doing all this circuit shit to try to figure out a way to build a brand and build a legacy, and it's not working. Then you got the next clown, Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates says salacious shit all the time just to get a reaction, to try to get himself relevant again. His music, it never resonated with nobody. Nobody could tell you that he was the top MC in any era at any point or any time. He had a couple of hits here. I think his biggest hits was 2 cell phones. I think I got 2 cell phones. That was it. After that, he was just all podcasts and entertainment. And, you know, it's just the vibe of being a thug to being a Muslim to being this Christ-like figure. It was a fathom through his head, a roller coaster ride of different mythological people that he wanted to be and he wanted to portray. And then you had stupid motherfuckers, the cult-like mentality that gravitates to these type of dumb individuals. And now they're running around here
thinking that everything he says, his word is bond, because he's a master manipulator, and people don't understand that. Master manipulators can control people, can absorb them in, and have them thinking that what they say is God. This is the David Koreshes. These are, you know, we see that in the white form. We just never seen it in the black form. And this is what he is. So you got to be very, very cautious about that. Somebody who has intellectual understanding in your household has to tell you, like, hey, this dude ain't, I don't want your mind to be messed up with this dude, because this dude could rewire you in some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just different type of, it's gender fluid shit. He starts saying gender fluid shit without saying gender fluid shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, you gotta have sex in this way and all that way. And it's like he's trying to tap into every part that gets sensationalization to get the attraction to people to gravitate to him, and it's not working. So when you say something like, oh, I started car battery with my hands, this is the whole the whole Jesus complex. You know, he's a Muslim now, so he wants to act like a higher level and create himself as that. No human hands can start a car battery. How can you start something and your fucking hands is resistant to electrical? That doesn't make fucking sense. So things like that make people look like morons to the people who are intellectually enhanced and knowledgeable enough to know what the fuck you're talking about is bullshit. But the people who don't know what he's talking about, it looks like, oh my gosh, this is wild. Oh man, we got Jesus living amongst us. Last, and I land my plane, is you got this Kanye dumbass who sacrificed his mother to get the means that he got. And
he said it himself.
I don't care what people say. I don't care what people say. People sit back and say, oh, you believe in that shit? That shit is real. Sacrifices are real. And I've seen a lot of people that have sacrificed their children. And one of the recent ones I've seen is a dude from Philly. I ain't going to say his name, but if you know who it is, then you know who I'm talking about. Because ever since his, you know, child got sacrificed, his money been through the roof now. And people don't understand that. Kanye's talented, but Kanye's ceiling with his talent was here. You are controlled. You are their puppet. And they and God bless and much gracious to the work of Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. They have dissected the whole white supremacy and the tactics that they use. And Neely Fuller would tell you that white supremacy controls all points and aspects of whatever is pinpointed on this world. You guys got to be very careful about who you analyze and who you sit back and try to kind of rub shoulders with, because some people that look good is actually could be paid informants out here. And that's what I look at Kanye for, is a paid fucking informant to do what he needs to do to distract the masses, while white supremacy is out here in their think tanks working on other ways to keep us at a low marginal rate and keep financial apartheid across the global planet. And I'll just land my plane on that.
A lot to unpack there, sir, but you cooked on that, dog. You cooked on that. Chef Anthony Malcolm in the building. Chef Anthony Malcolm in the building. All right, that's what it is. Yeah. Hey man, Bobby, you got to give it to us now, man. Talk to me about that collage of brilliance that I just put up with these morons, bruh.
Oh man. Look, part of the problem is twofold. So we've been talking about mental health and how the treatment isn't getting out there because people aren't seeking it. Again, listed as 1 in 5 men suffer from mental health issues. Pretty sure it's a lot close to 1 in 3. Case in point, uno dos tres. The reality is, and there are some cases that I think are legitimate, where those 3 are concerned, Ray J probably not as much as the other 2, but where those 3 are concerned, I believe that their mental health issues are in fact legitimate. I do believe that. We know that Kanye and Kanye's been him, and whether for those whether they want to believe that he sacrificed his mother or not, whether it was at his own hand or just because of circumstances. The reality is he did, in fact, lose his mother. And especially when you look at the relationship that they had, that changes you. He's never been right since then.
He said it himself.
Oh, yeah. He's never been right since then. And he's never gotten help for the issues. Again, had he gotten help right away, had he went out to therapy, gotten treatment to help deal and cope with the loss, might have had somebody different right now. But, you know, when you break a teacup, you're never going to be able to get it back again. You can get, even if you get all the pieces of glass that broke and you try to put it together, you get your Gorilla Glue and you try to glue everything back, it's never going to be the same. Right? And, you know, when you have resources like Kanye did, even at that time, he's one of the hottest artists doing the thing right there. It's difficult to have people that are going to check you and reel you in because, I mean, we spoke about this before. Everybody doesn't want to cut off their access to the source. You the plug. You the biggest person around you. It's very difficult to get treatment or get people to say, hey, man, you need some help, man. Because they're trying to get their bills paid. They're trying to get that flex money. They're trying to be seen or what have you. So when you have these people, especially celebrities in particular, and regular people as well too, but so much more when you have fame and wealth and resources, it's difficult to get help because you don't have enough people who are real around you to check you and hold your feet to the fire that can really call you out on that.
No black women either, by the way.
Another thing that's also there on the other side of that coin, though, unfortunately, we're from a community where a lot of people, due to systematic oppression and white supremacy, have been left in a state of inferiority. Even if they're not in that sense economically, it's a mental sense where you don't feel valuable. You know, Aunt, you talked about how you went and you spoke to those kids at his house, and you basically put some worth in their system, or rather, I should say, you kind of dusted off, you spit shined the worth that they had, so where they're able to see themselves properly, because you might have been the first person that came along and actually said, hey, you're valuable. Or if other people said it, they just said that, yeah, sound like a Hallmark card greeting. But you actually gave them some tangible insights and information they didn't have to realize, hey, it's not just some intrinsic values, some mumbo jumbo made up stuff he's talking about. He's saying there's an actual legitimate worth to me. My body is valuable. This vessel that I have, it's valuable. It's worth something. When people don't see themselves as valuable, they will look for ways and opportunities to be valuable and to see themselves in that light. So a lot of people, unfortunately, in our community, they love to just be seen. They love to be seen, and they don't care what the reason for it is. It doesn't matter whether it's because they got a promotion on their job, whether they graduated school, they started a business, or because they're showing their ass and making a fool of themselves.
Right.
All attention is valid. And we see this in childhood, but the same rules apply with adulthood. The worst thing that a person can suffer from is not receiving negative attention.
Okay.
The worst attention, I think we all spoke about this before as well too. The worst attention is no attention at all. When you're just ignored, disregarded, and you feel like if you drop down dead today, nobody would remember you 5 minutes from now.
How do we, as a society, cope with dealing with these assholes? Because, and I'm going to stand on these assholes, because people say all the time, well, don't talk about them like that. They mentally ill. Don't talk down on them. They got mental issues. Yeah, but they're destroying the fucking community in the process. Okay?
Yeah.
And so how do we handle them? Or how do you, I know how I'm gonna handle them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna bang every time. But how is that the right line of action, being that these people are supposedly not mentally equipped? Because I look at it like this: if you're into the arena, bitch, you down for the fight. If you keep taking your ignorant ass outside, talking stupid all the time, then you must be up to the criticism. You must be up to the scrutiny. You must be fair game. That's how I see it. But maybe I'm wrong. Talk me off the ledge. Is that the way we handle them? Because they are making negative, very negative contributions to Black society with this bullshit.
Yeah, I think that the way that, I mean, I thought like maybe, well, I didn't make it clear, but I'll just say that I'll speak on it.
Yeah.
When I was talking about it, I was just putting it in the context of finding people that are the alternative. I think when you have garbage out there, we can talk about garbage all fucking day. Show people the alternative. I could talk about Publix. I could talk about this. I could talk about that. Show me the alternative. You know, I could talk bad about soda. Show me the alternatives and focus on the alternatives.
I hear you, and your answer was brilliant. I'm not taking anything away from your answer.
No, I get that.
Thanks.
But what I'm also saying, though, these people are so loud that they take up a lot of the air in the room. There are times where a whole week the news cycle has been Kanye and him talking his shit about the Jews. 3 days or so, this guy, Kevin, whatever the fuck is it, Kevin Gates. 3 days or so, that's all anybody's talking about. I hear what you're saying.
Fence. Kevin Fences. He ain't Gates anymore. It's Kevin Fences.
I hear what you're saying, but these people are so big. They're so influential. It's hard to just, you know, try to talk about Farrakhan or try to talk about Francis Cress Wilson or these type of people, or even Tariq Nasheed. Unfortunately, people don't really want to hear that too tough.
What Ant said is half of the coin. That's half the solution. We definitely can have the alternatives out there because, again, it's not enough to say don't listen to XYZ. You need to have a substitute. You can't just create a gap. Well, now what do we do? I don't know. I guess we're going to listen to Kanye. Okay, we're going to listen. That's what it ultimately reverts to, because if you can't replace what's there, you're going to revert back to what was there previously. So having the alternatives is very important. The other half is to do exactly what you talked about. You got to bang on this when it presents itself. Yeah. And you don't necessarily have to be nasty or derogatory. You certainly can if you want to, but you don't have to be. But the whole objective is to push back on it. You have to give negative reinforcement in this case. Positive reinforcement would be giving the alternatives. The negative reinforcement is also important because you have to give correction.
Okay,
I can't just go ahead.
No, I was saying when you say pushback, bang on them. Give me more context to what that means. Banging on who?
What we're doing right now is a perfect example of that. We're not.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The alternative. That's why I'm saying the alternative is don't listen to them. Listen to Manifestations. Don't listen to them. Listen to Tariq. Don't listen to them. Listen to Professor Truth. That's what I'm saying with the alternative. Exactly. Like don't grain on them. Give them brothers that are doing other things. Not only are they not, we might bang on them, but we're giving them substance in other areas where they can find value in other shit. Because if you give them the typical people that's out here talking the same gossip shit all day, it's more of an edge for them to go listen to these dummies. But if you're giving them platforms of substance, and even just by us going out there and saying what we have been saying for a couple of years, we have inspired people that haven't came out and told us, hey, I started this, or I started to help people in our community based on what y'all do. Tariq has been doing that for years. A lot of people pioneered off of what Tariq was doing. A lot of people are pioneered off of Jason Black and taking that leadership and doing their own thing. And they have created an atmosphere and a group of people, a following that are now being inspired to do the same trickle-down situations. It's creating an enclave within a society of having great other individuals and great minds to think alike. So it's like you're creating tribes of tribes within the community to help combat what we're doing. And that's all you can ask for, because remember, back in the 1920s, we have lost our what they call that on code behavior. So now we're getting it back, but it's not on a mass level like it was back in the early 20s. We're getting it in little enclaves. Like you have Anubis. Anubis has his peoples, and we had them on here. They're doing great work in the community. And then the sisters that are with them, the queens that are with them, they're doing great work in the community. So they're not on a big platform like what do you call it, Breakfast Club or any any platform like that, but they're doing it loud enough that everybody around them is effective. Now they have a whole tribe that they're going and building in different cities. Now Manifestations is going, we're planning on going on tour and going around and doing this stuff to create more people. So when we have these little incubated outlets for people to really get their minds tightened up, all that other noise, as loud as it seems, it's really being diluted. And I'll land my plane on that. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. I
in the
appreciate
streets.
that. Yeah, facts. I appreciate that. I want to just go over, and I hear you, and trust me, I hear you, but I want to make sure I talk about this comment that Anubis made. Anubis said, I would identify them as mentally ill, but in this society with social media, the mentally ill are the stars. We as a people these days seemingly love dysfunction. And then he goes on to give an example of look at Charles and Netta. So I hear you, and trust me, that's why I'm here with you, because I understand that we're part of the paradigm shift. You understand? I get it. But I wanted to pose that to you in question form just so that I could hear the real knee-jerk reaction that someone gives to it when they're asked that question, because that's not an easy question. That's a very multi-layered question. Correct. Because you're literally talking about how do we facilitate a paradigm shift. That's what we're really literally discussing, because we need it. We're in such dire need of it, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So like, we really, really got to go hard. And people ask all the time. I got my friend David Moet. That's my guy from back in the days. And he like, man, why you always banging on people? And I said to him, why you ain't banging on people more? You understand what I'm saying? Because he's a man of God. You know what I'm saying? So I would think that he would be, and I say this respectfully, Dave is my guy. You know, from back in the days, I met David when I was 14 years old working at Publix. You understand what I'm saying? This is my guy. And I said to him, like, bruh, you should be more upset than me, being the Christian man that you are, being the very virtuous and honest man that you are. You always in the church, you know, whatever the case may be. Jesus whipped people in the temple. Why you think he did that? All right, come on now. Don't get me started. You know, the Bible, if we're going to use that as a reference, right? A lot of us do. We live in a Christian society. Moreover, often talks about how angry God has been at man. And I'm not supposed to be mad. I'm not supposed to bang on niggas. Y'all lucky I don't bang on niggas like I used to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is a new type of banging. I'm intellectually banging now. Back in the days, it was a little more physical. You understand what I'm saying? But like, real talk, people got to get out here and get active. You got to get out here and confront fools like Kevin Gates, fools like Kanye West, fools like Tyrese, fools like, you can insert random Negro here. They all doing it, and it's intentional. And this is my thing. I can't empathize with a nigga who's doing some shit purposely that's harming the community just so he can be seen. That's insanity. You know, and I tend to err on the side of what Amun is saying, whereas he does see it as mental illness, but I think it's another type of mental illness, because when you always have to be seen, that's also a form of mental illness, is it not?
It absolutely is. And that's what I was, and see, I'm glad I let you talk, because you got to you fleshed out more what I was just gonna give like a little brief sampling of it. You kind of went in depth.
Go ahead.
For a lot of us, attention is currency, and nowadays it really has become currency. But even before this, you've had a lot of us that, and anybody that's done work in the community, as far as organizing, anybody. I know Anubis could definitely testify to this.
Yeah.
God forbid, don't let it be a public forum type, town hall type setting, whatever. When you got people coming together, talking real stuff, real solutions, laying out the issues as they are, brainstorming solutions, you can always count. It's more reliable than an atomic clock, more reliable than your direct deposit. You can always count on some nigga. You talk about, okay, so the solution is ABC. Our problem is XYZ. We need ABC in order to solve this. And people are like, yeah, it sounds good. What if we tried Elemental P? I like Elemental P, but people talking real stuff. And all of a sudden, and I'm gonna do it the way Jason Black would say, all of a sudden you got some nigga come and talk about, Hey, look at me, look at me. I know you're talking about solutions, but look at me. I have this hat. I have this
Them
chain.
niggas.
I have this
Yeah.
shirt. Look at me. Don't talk about solutions. Look at me. I want attention. Look at me. The unloved children of society love to pop up, and they see a group of people and they say, hey, that's an opportunity for attention. And they go try to take it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, now we have systems in place now that reward this nonsense, as Anubis pointed out, where it's monetized. They get paid for cutting a fool and making an ass themselves. And this has been one of my greatest lamentations. It used to be for you to become famous, you had to have talent. You had to have skill. Even who back in those days would be considered the reprehensible or the shunned in society, your Marilyn Monroe's. I mean, let's face it, Marilyn Monroe, she basically was a glorified get around. She was a bust down.
Yeah.
You know, JFK, happy birthday, Mr. President, and all this nonsense. But even she had a talent. The girl could sing to an extent. She could carry a tune. She wasn't going to be no recording star, but the girl could sing. She was attractive. She was beautiful for that time.
Mm-hmm.
She was stylish and fashionable.
Mm-hmm.
She was also a model. She was able to carry herself in a way that commanded attention. So even though she was not uber talented, she had enough talent and looks to justify her fame. And to this day, her influence still influences women, rightly or wrongly, to this day. But she had talent.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can become a millionaire off social media, off YouTube and Snapchat and Facebook and everything.
Come on
simply
now.
by based off of being a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a whole entire idiot of yourself, and that's supposed to be enough to monetize you. But that's by design.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's important that people like us roll our sleeves up and get into the fray, because we need to become the tastemakers. We need to get in positions of power where we can balance the scales. These people are willing to sink money into people making assholes of themselves because it's an investment. As a they're investing that money because they want a certain return on the investment. What is the investment, you're asking? It's the dumbing down of society.